Hello, everybody, and welcome to Realist Sports Talk Podcast Episode 2. I am your host, Markel Harper, and it is Halloween special, Saturday, October 31st, and nothing like a good trick-or-treat, right? Well, anyways, as you can see, unfortunately, I am alone. My guest, Denver Roberts, unfortunately got sick earlier this morning. We were hoping he would pull through. It didn't end up happening, but show must go on, right? Got to make the adjustments. So I will be doing this podcast by myself today, but we will make it work, and it will be just as good. Anyways, I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. To get started, I want to recap this past weekend's UFC event, UFC 254, Gaethje and Khabib, and I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of did. Second round submission, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yep, over Justin Gaethje. The way I see it is his pressure was too much from the get-go, and Gaethje did land some clean punches, but wasn't really affecting Khabib, and it eventually got to the point where Gaethje fell subdued to where everybody else did, and he just couldn't overcome that pressure of Khabib, and he ended up transitioning from a triangle to from an armbar to a triangle and submitting him in the second round, which was my prediction for him to get a second round submission. I mean, I can't stand Khabib, but gotta give credit where it's due. Congratulations. Good job. And he retired on top. I mean, I'm hoping he stays retired so Conor can get a shot at that belt. I don't think anybody else besides Khabib could really beat Conor in that division, to be honest. But as far as everybody's been talking about Khabib being the greatest of all time. Not so fast in my eyes. I think Jon Jones still has that, just because of how many times he defended his title. Like, I want to say it's 11 or 12, maybe. I don't know, but he's defended it way more than Khabib, and it gets way better caliber opponents. I mean, if Khabib was to come back and do a super fight with, like, GSP and defeat him, it'd be hard to deny him being the greatest of all time. But where we stand track right now, I believe Khabib is still below Jon Jones in that ranking. He's definitely second greatest of all time, though, in my mind. I know people are going to say Anderson Silva and all this, but the level of competition and the dominance, and he didn't lose one fucking fight. Let's be real. 29-0. No one loss, no two loss. Unlike Silva, who's had, I think, like 4 losses now. Yeah, Khabib is definitely close second, though. I mean, it's not even up for debate, in my opinion. I think it goes Jon Jones, and then it would go Khabib, and then whoever else is below that. I really don't give a fuck, because who cares about third place, honestly. But anyways, moving on to the next subject, which will still be UFC. Anderson Silva fights tonight against Uriah Hall. Anderson Silva, once again, we're bringing this up, arguably one of the GOATs. Uriah Hall, Ultimate Fighter, spectacular. Probably, if you want to say it, the greatest prospect to come out of the Ultimate Fighter. But unfortunately, when he came out of the Ultimate Fighter, he ultimately subdued under pressure and that spotlight, and he is complacent, and he doesn't really fight like he was on the show. I mean, he's had some good wins in UFC still, but it just hasn't been the same. And a lot of it, people say, is mental health, but still, as a pro athlete, you got to overcome that if you want to be one of the best. I mean, I'm going for him tonight, don't get me wrong, and everything, but Silva versus Hall, it would definitely be a interesting one. They fight similar. I think they both try to be showouts and then pick their shot and go for the knockout, but I don't know. It's going to be a good one. I don't even want to make a prediction, but I'm going for Uriah Hall definitely just because I don't like Anderson Silva personally. But that set aside, ooh, I can't even pick, honestly. I don't want to bet against Anderson Silva on this one, but I want Uriah Hall to win, of course. I mean, it's going to be a stand-up battle. They're going to kickbox all day. Don't expect to see a takedown in this fight, really. I'd be surprised if there was even one takedown in this fight. But never say never, you know? But hopefully it's just a good fight overall. And shit, I wouldn't mind a knockout at all. At all. I mean, it's going to be... Will Silva's age play a factor? I really don't think so. He still looks sharp and fast at his old age. And Uriah Hall is hesitant with shots, where Silva will try to bait him in. Hopefully Hall doesn't fall for it and take the bait, but who knows. We shall see tonight what that fight plays out like and everything. I mean, if Silva lands that one of those front kicks or just catches Hall off guard, it's going to be a tough day for Hall. But Silva definitely has the better chin out of the two, I would say. He can take a big shot and act like nothing happened, and he won't be fazed at all. But we shall see. I mean, hopefully it's a good fight overall. Hopefully it's a good Halloween special for all UFC fans, and that we aren't disappointed. And no bullshit injury like Silva did against Weidman. Moving on anyway, I'd like to talk about who's the NFC Offensive Player of the Month. Who is it? Can anybody take a guess? Can anybody take a guess? Oh yeah, it's old, washed up Tom Brady. Tom Brady, washed up. Doesn't have it still. Blah, 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 blah. Now, let's look at this. In the month of October, 1,157 passing yards, 13 total touchdowns, 110.0 passer rating. Shit. Yeah, old and washed up, huh? I think people are eating their words on that. Once again, I'll say they're Super Bowl contenders in my eyes. I mean, and I think he went 3-1 again in October. I mean, shit. And their overall record's like 5-2. I want to say 5-2 or 5-1. Not 100% sure on that, but they're definitely a contender, and they're not a team to be messed with down the line. They're gonna get better as they go. Mid-season form is gonna be something really interesting to look at. Rob Gronkowski seems like he's come back to his old form. And Tom Brady and him are getting more and more trust by the week. And fucking Antonio Brown's there. Gosh damn it. Forgot all about that. He just came back this week. We'll see what he does. I'm not expecting... If I had to predict, I think he has like 4 catches, 42 yards or something like that. There's too many weapons to put between those guys in that offense. And... I don't think he will boom this week, but as the offense keeps flowing and going, he could get back to his old form of being one of the dominant receivers in the league. But you got Godwin and Evans and Gronkowski there. It's going to be hard to tell who's going to explode in that offense each week, which they're going to be a top team regardless, in my opinion. Big key matchup next week is against the Saints. That's going to be a rematch to see because they weren't the same team week 1 that they're going to be next week. And they face the fucking Giants fucking Monday night. They're going to massacre the Giants. It's just not even going to be close. I mean, I wish they would fucking flex Monday night games like they do Sunday night games, but unfortunately they don't. So, we're going to see a fucking slobber knocker on fucking Monday fucking blowout, most likely. I got the fucking Bucks by like 15 plus at least. I mean, what can I do? I'm not the matchmaker. I don't fucking make the flex decisions in the NFL, so we'll see. I mean, Giants, they had bad luck with Barkley being out for season and everything, but I don't think it would make much of a difference in this matchup, to be honest. Their defense is subcore from what I can see. They don't finish a lot of games, even if they keep it close. And Daniel Jones is like iffy. It's only his second year. I guess we can give him that year, seeing as he doesn't have shit to work with. But still, I think the Buccaneers defense will be way too much for fucking Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. And I expect a few turnovers out of Giants offense. We shall see, though. Any given Sunday, any given Monday, more like in this case, because it's a Monday night game, we will see what happens with that cause. But, shit. Hopefully it's a better game than I would think, or you would think, you know? But, anyways, I don't want to talk about that anymore. But I do want you guys to remember that Tom Brady is still the GOAT, and he's not washed up. He's not too old. He can still do this at a high level, and he's proven that. People are going to say, oh, he has this many weapons, that many weapons, blah, 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 blah. Well, look at my own team. We could say the same for Patty Mahomes. Got all the weapons on earth. And he still gets a credit. You need weapons in this league to succeed. It's just a given thing nowadays, especially in today's era NFL. Back in when I was growing up in the 90s, maybe you could get away with having Troy Brown as your number one receiver or having a mediocre receiving core, but that's not how it works nowadays. These fucking teams are having quarterbacks that would throw for 300 plus yards each game, and if not lucky enough to have 4 touchdowns and not put fucking 35 plus on the board. It is a scoring league now. It's not a defensive league. And that's just how it is. You got to have weapons around you if you're going to succeed. Patriots showed that last year. Tom Brady and them, they were always up in the higher tier of being contention for Super Bowls and everything. But last year they just couldn't score the points. They just couldn't keep up on the scoreboard. Their defense was stellar, which it still is this year in my opinion. But you got to score points nowadays in the NFL most of the time. I mean, I'm not going to say there's not going to be some weeks where a defense shuts down other teams, but we will see. But that's my take on it. I think the Bucks will be a Super Bowl contender in that you got to score points in this league. And that's just how it is. And that kind of brings me to my next subjects. What about the Patriots' downfall? That is something kind of surprised, but kind of not. It's really looking like Brady carried Belichick all those years right now. They look horrendous, honestly. They got blown out big time by the 49ers last week. And the offense did not look good at all. Cam Newton doesn't look good at all. That receiving core is fucking hurt. I believe Edelman went on injured reserve this week, and he says he expects to be back this season, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just hold him off. And N'Keal Harry is out against the Bills as well. I mean, they got a big division game matchup this week against the Bills, and that's not looking too swell right now. I mean, they just don't look like the normal Patriots we're used to seeing. And I do think a lot of it has to do with Tom Brady, believe it or not. I think this team would still be like at least contending for this division, or this week would be for first place if Tom Brady was still there. I don't think Brady would have accepted them losing to teams like the Broncos, or even, I don't want to say San Fran's bad, because they're not bad, but I think Brady could have pulled it over on the 49ers. The 49ers haven't I don't know. I just don't think they're that special this year. They did go to the Super Bowl last year, but still, we shall see what the 49ers do the rest of the year. But in my opinion, it's all about Brady was the core of that team in my eyes, and it's being seen more and more by the week because they don't. I don't want to say Cam Newton's not a leader, but Brady's leadership, he will hold you accountable for anything you do wrong. He's not going to play that bullshit. And unfortunately, Cam, a lot of stuff that's going on, he's wrong doing a lot of things in that offense as well. Throwing picks, not making the plays he needs to. Granted, his receiving core is not the best, but Tom Brady didn't have the best receiving core last year either. I think it's pretty much the same receiving core that Brady had last year, but Brady won that division once again and made the playoffs. It's just not the same environment. And Bill Belichick, he's still one of the greatest coaches of all time, but for people not to give Brady credit and act like Bill Belichick was the only reason he was succeeding and that Tom Brady is a system quarterback, that's so dead. It's being proven right now that Tom Brady wasn't just a system quarterback. He is still succeeding in Tampa and elevating his play even higher than it was last year. Come on now. Let's not be ignorant about the shit. But yeah, I think that I don't want to say Belichick's suspect because it's definitely not, but I think it was definitely a team effort in New England, and I don't think many of us can deny that at all. It's right there. It's right there. We're seeing it in front of our eyes. You can't deny that at all. Anyways, I don't want to bang on the Pats too hard because I know we got a lot of fans out there that thinks I'm just being a hater and everything. I don't have a problem with the Patriots. Don't have a problem with the Patriots. The teams I have a problem with are the Broncos, Raiders, and fucking Steelers. I can't stand any of those three teams. Patriots don't have a problem with. I'm just being real and saying what I think about that organization and what's going on right now. But if you want to think I'm a hater, think I'm a hater. But I think that New England definitely should look into. I don't want to. It's fucking hard to say. I don't want to say they should rebuild, but it might be that time. Might be that time. Trade up in the draft, get a quarterback or something, but who am I? I don't fucking have 6 rings like Bill Belichick and everything, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with them, but I predicted before the season started that the Bills would win that division, and it's looking pretty clear right now that it most likely is going to happen. Moving on to the next subject, though. Gervonta Davis is boxing tonight against Leo Santo Cruz, and honestly, I believe that Gervonta Davis is the next big thing since Floyd Mayweather. I thought it was Lomachenko, but we saw what happened to him a couple weeks ago. Fucking got upsetted, but Gervonta Davis is looking as promising as any prospect we've seen in boxing in a long time. And I don't want to hear about Canelo. I don't want to hear about all that shit, because Canelo arguably lost to Triple G, and he definitely lost to Floyd Mayweather. Gervonta Davis fights haven't even been close. He's been putting people to sleep and ending it like it's no contest at all. I mean, Gervonta Davis is training under Floyd Mayweather too, which even makes it even more dangerous. He's picking the mind of the greatest boxer of all time. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz definitely is a tough matchup for anybody. He's a hustler, and he's never going to quit, ever. Never. That guy's just not a quitter, and he will bring it. He will bring it. But the power of Gervonta Davis, I think, is going to be too much for Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, shit, if it goes to a decision, I'm taking Santa Cruz all day. But Davis doesn't go to decisions. He goes out there and throws with reckless abandonment. And he wants to take your head off. And if you're going to even phase him. You better hit him where it hurts. Because I haven't seen him rocked yet. I haven't seen him have a challenge yet. It's just all been fucking fun and giggles for him in that fucking boxing ring lately. You know? Hopefully it's a good fight, though. I'm going for Davis. But hopefully it's a good fight. I like seeing good fights. I don't like seeing shit in, like, fast unless it's, like, one of my most favorite fighters. Even when Conor knocked out Otto in 13 seconds, I was happy as fuck, don't get me wrong, but I was just like, damn, wish I could have seen it longer so people can just say it's luck. He caught him. Luck. Yeah, wish I could have seen that one longer. But that's what combat sports is all about. You never know what to expect each and every bout, fight, shit. I mean, let's see what happens tonight. And hopefully we can recap a good fight. But if I had to bet my money, Gervonta Davis knocks his block off within fucking 3 rounds. Maybe I'm being too harsh because Santa Cruz is a world champion too. But that's just my mindset on it. Next subject, UFC's lightweight title is now vacant as of now. Khabib said he's going to retire, which I believe he is because he takes family serious, and he told his mother he wouldn't walk to the octagon without his dad anymore, who passed away from COVID this past summer. I mean, I don't think he will, but Dana's saying he's been talking to Khabib, but how many times has Dana been full of shit? Dana's saying that he believes he will go for 30-0. I don't know how much shit of that I can believe at all, if any. I mean, I never know when Dana's fucking lying or not. Never know. But anyways, in my eyes, they're talking about Conor versus Dustin. If they're going to make that fight, I think they should make it for the vacant lightweight title and then put Gaethje in there against the winner right away. Conor brings more numbers than anybody in the UFC. We know that. And there's not anybody that's beat him at lightweight besides Khabib. Granted, he's only had 2 fights in the lightweight division, but he's already beat Dustin at featherweight once. So, who's to say he wouldn't beat him at this weight class? I think he's going to beat him at this weight class regardless. But I think they should put Conor for the belt against Poirier if they fight. If they don't fight, which I believe this is the true title fight, put McGregor versus Gaethje maybe at the end of the year or beginning of next year for the title. That fight would draw big numbers. Gaethje is a fucking brawler, which we all know for sure. And Conor is a fucking animal when it comes to his hands and boxing. That fight will bring in huge numbers. And there's already bad blood because Gaethje likes to run his fucking mouth like he knows shit about Conor and talk about his fatherhood and everything. Shut the fuck up, bro. You don't know nothing about how Conor is a father. You're just going off public media and saying shit about Conor as a human being. But who are you to judge anybody? Yeah, you can see the public perception, but behind closed doors, what do you know about being a parent or anything? You don't have any kids. That's one thing I can't stand is when people bring kids into the equation of fucking rivalry or even street beef or anything. That's stupid. But I hope that fight happens. And I don't hate Gaethje. I just hate that perspective of how he took that route to talk shit. But if that fight ends up happening, then you put Tony and Dustin Poirier in a fight and then make for a number 1 contendership. There's so many ways around this division now. It's it's going to work out either way best for the UFC. They have so many options at this point to make that division entertaining and stellar. Once again, Khabib was fucking dominant. I don't think anybody was going to beat him. if we're being realistic. I wanted to see the Conor rematch just because Conor's always better in rematches, but I don't think anybody's gonna beat him. That man's just a different animal. He was gonna choke out everybody in his path, and nobody was gonna be able to withstand his takedown. Like, shit, you got fucking Olympic wrestlers like Daniel Cormier that said that Habib would take him down some days in practice. That's fucking insane. And Cormier is a fucking heavyweight. Let's think of that. And then he was wrestling with younger youth that were state championship and national championship wrestlers in his gym, and he's handling them with ease. Yeah, it's just hard to see how Habib would have lost any fight in the lightweight division at all. And GSP was his only real challenge, and if he comes back, that should be the fight. I don't think he should come back unless that's a fight. That would be a big money fight, and they could put on a show, because GSP is, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. Probably third. I put John Jones, and then it's like, I want to say Habib, but it's honestly a toss-up between GSP and Habib. But yeah, that would be the fight to make if he was to come back. But I think he's going to stay retired. I think without his dad, he just wants to let go and move on to the next thing in his life. And good luck to him, and God bless. Regardless. I know I don't like him, but God bless him, man. He is an incredible talent, and he has done a lot for combat sports and has been a brilliant fighter and hasn't let us down when it comes to fight time. He always shows up and puts on a show for us, even if it's a ragdoll, which he ragdolled most of his fucking opponents, if not all of them. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Hopefully UFC figures that out quickly, because I want to see Conor fight. I mean, it's been almost another fucking year. It's like, and I want to kind of blame that on Conor too. It's like, you only fight once a fucking year. It's like 1 year. We're talking that shit unless you're going to get in there and fight, which it might not be all his fault. It's negotiations with the UFC and Dana White. And then he's talking about fighting Pacquiao, blah, blah, blah. No, fucking fighting UFC. Just fighting the UFC. Fuck all this other shit. Prove you say you're the fucking most badass person. Fucking prove it. Keep fighting in UFC and do what you been doing. You're not a pro boxer. Although I think he could put up a good match against Pacquiao. You're not a pro boxer. You've only had one pro boxing match against Floyd Mayweather. I don't even think he had a fucking amateur boxing match, to be honest. Just stay in the UFC. Fucking, you're making enough money off that Proper 12 and your August McGregor line and all sorts of other shit. I probably have a name, but I think Conor should just stay in the UFC. Or if not, if he's going to do anything, just retire and keep making money off your damn whiskey and everything else. But don't fucking tweet and say this and that, like calling people out when you're not going to sign a contract anytime soon, and leave us fans wondering what the fuck is going on. Which, like I said, it could be UFC and Dana and this. And COVID, I think, had a lot to do with it, because they don't want to put Conor in a fight without a crowd, because he would generate so much money pay-per-view wise and crowd wise. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And hopefully we have a good future with the UFC coming up. Sometimes it gets annoying because of the politics and everything, especially when it comes to people wanting more money and then the UFC not paying them more money, which both sides have a right to. But the UFC is going to go on regardless, you know. It's a popping business, and the UFC is not going anywhere. No star is bigger than the UFC, and I'll always say that until it's proven otherwise. Anyways, this was not what I wanted it to be today, but I had to put something out there for you guys. My guess was unfortunately got sick and he couldn't be here besides me, and I had way more stuff to talk about, and I wanted to get inside his mind a little bit. But when he told me he couldn't make it, like about honestly 2 hours ago, I had to start brainstorming and changing my plans and trying to think of what I would talk about and everything. And this is on my second time fucking doing this. I mean, I'm nervous as it is, and then that shit happens. It just skyrockets even more. But I'll get better as I keep going, and I hope you guys keep supporting me and just know that I'm trying my best. But I was really excited for today for my guest to be here, and then I could pick another sports mind, but that didn't happen, and I had to adjust, and I did the best I can today. I don't feel like I performed to the best of my ability today, but like I said, it was just all mind-boggling with only so many hours to go before I had to put this out there. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would. And I need your hometown support, like always, like I said. And I hope everybody has a good and safe Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. Don't take too much candy from strangers, because you never know what they're up to. But God bless, and everybody have a good rest of the weekend.